Have you ever finished reading an English story and realized that you understood almost every sentence, but a few hours later, you couldn't remember most of it? If that has happened to you, don't worry. It's completely normal. Many English learners believe that simply reading English is enough to become fluent. Reading is important. Listening is important. Learning vocabulary is important. But there's something even more important: using what you learn. That's exactly why stories are one of the most powerful ways to improve your English. Stories don't just teach words, they teach emotions, situations, conversations, patterns. And the more stories you experience, the more naturally your brain begins understanding English. Today, we're going to enjoy a simple English story together. Don't worry if you don't understand every single word. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is understanding the message. Relax. Listen carefully. Imagine the scenes in your mind. Let's begin. The small cafe on Maple Street. There was a small cafe on Maple Street. It wasn't famous. It wasn't expensive. It wasn't the biggest cafe in the city, but people loved going there. Every morning. The owner opened the cafe at 7 o'clock. His name was Daniel. Daniel believed something very simple. He always said, "A good cup of coffee can change someone's day." Every customer who entered the cafe heard the same warm greeting. "Good morning! It's nice to see you!" Some customers smiled. Some looked tired. Some were busy looking at their phones. But Daniel greeted everyone with the same kindness. One rainy Monday morning, a young woman walked into the cafe. She looked nervous. She ordered a cup of tea instead of coffee. Daniel smiled and asked, "Is everything okay today?" The woman laughed softly. "I have an important job interview in 1 hour." Daniel nodded. "I hope it goes well," she smiled. "I hope so too." She sat near the window and quietly looked outside. The rain continued falling. Cars moved slowly through the streets. People hurried with umbrellas in their hands. After a few minutes, an older man entered the cafe. He ordered black coffee. As he looked around, he noticed that every table was full except the one beside the young woman. He politely asked, "May I sit here?" She smiled. "Of course." For several minutes, neither of them spoke. They simply enjoyed the peaceful atmosphere. Finally, the older man looked at her and asked, "You seem worried." She laughed. "Is it that obvious?" He smiled. "A little." She explained that she had been searching for a job for several months. This interview felt very important. She was afraid of saying the wrong thing. The older man listened carefully. Then he said something unexpected. "When I was your age, I failed my first 5 job interviews." The young woman looked surprised. "5?" He nodded. "Yes, and each one taught me something useful." She asked, "Weren't you disappointed?" He smiled. "Very, but every interview made me a little more confident." Success usually comes after many small failures. The young woman thought quietly about those words. A few minutes later, she looked at the clock. "I should leave now." The older man stood up. "So should I?" Both of them walked toward the door. Before leaving, Daniel wished them both a wonderful day. The young woman thanked him for the tea. The older man thanked him for the coffee. They smiled at each other and walked in different directions. 2 weeks passed. Life at the cafe continued as usual. People came. People left. Some stayed for 5 minutes. Others stayed for hours. Then, one sunny afternoon, the same young woman returned. This time, she looked completely different. She walked in with a big smile. Daniel immediately recognized her. "You look happy today." "I am," she laughed. "I got the job." Daniel smiled. "Congratulations!" She ordered another cup of tea. While waiting, she noticed the older man sitting in his usual chair. She walked over. "I wanted to thank you." He looked up and smiled. "For what?" "For encouraging me," he laughed. "I only shared my story." She nodded. "But your story gave me hope." The older man looked out of the window for a moment. Then he said, "Sometimes people don't need advice. Sometimes they simply need to know they aren't alone." The young woman smiled. "I'll remember that." From that day on, she visited the cafe every Friday afternoon. Sometimes she talked with Daniel. Sometimes she talked with the older man. Sometimes she simply enjoyed a quiet cup of tea while reading a book, little by little. The cafe became one of her favorite places, not because of the drinks, not because of the food, but because it reminded her that kindness can change someone's day. Months later, another nervous customer entered the cafe, a university student. He looked worried about an important exam. The young woman smiled and invited him to sit down. She listened to his concerns. Then she told him a story about a rainy Monday, a small cafe, a kind stranger, and how one simple conversation changed her life. That story may sound simple, but it teaches us something important. English isn't only about grammar, it's about people. Every conversation tells a story. Every question begins a connection. Every answer creates another opportunity to communicate. When you learn English through stories, you don't just memorize vocabulary. You remember emotions. You remember situations. You remember characters. That's why stories stay in your memory much longer than isolated words. The next time you read an English story, don't rush. Imagine the characters. Picture the places. Ask yourself what you would do in the same situation. Think about the lesson behind the story. That's how English becomes meaningful. And meaningful learning is the kind that lasts. As you continue your English journey, read more stories, listen to more stories, share your own stories, because every story you understand and every story you tell brings you one step closer to speaking English naturally and confidently. Remember, people rarely remember perfect grammar, but they always remember a good story. So keep learning, keep reading, and most importantly, keep enjoying the journey, because every page you read today is helping you write your own English story tomorrow.